Bring the arm right out. Because when you do that, you open yourself up for me to strike you, or for me to do what I want to do, alright? So I could do that, we set me up with a kick. Or that, we set me up with a knee, yeah? So what you want to do is make sure that your arms here just come out and back in. So you try and touch my ear from there.
This?
Yeah, go on. Go around, back up. That's it there. Go on, do it again. That's it there. Just come out just enough. Can you stay there, yeah? Yeah? Just come out just enough. Try with the other hand. That's it, just enough. That's it, just enough. Yeah, just enough. Now don't give you too much. What I don't give you too much tension. Because all you want to do is just bring it up.
Just bring it
Some
out.
boxers, some people, they got gloves, they'll do that. Isn't here? We don't want to be frightening them to death. Stone face. Female walks into a police station. A female walks into a police station, coming out of your venue, says I've been sexually assaulted or I've been raped. The next stage from that, the police officer will sit them down, go through some paperwork, potentially. They will have the forensics done. Oh, by the way, did you not know that we have Mahindad working at that venue? Licensing, local authority councils, because the police are some of the people that they control licensing. The police control it. There's supposed to be a door supervisor on there, and yeah, his name's Mahindad. So, did you not consider it pertinent to report to him, to let him know what happened so he could assist you? You've walked all the way here, you're in this state. We could have come out to you. I would have spoken to him, but he's not approachable. That's what the female says. Now how would that work in licensing? I'm telling you now that the police have the complete authority or an autonomy to say, we don't want Mahindad. I'm not talking about you, by the way. We don't want Mahindad working there anymore. I've seen people being removed within licensing, from a licensing perspective. If Mahindad works there tonight at your venue, then you know what's going to happen? We're going to apply for a closure. We're going to apply for a review. They call it a review of license. If they're applying for the review of license, they're looking to close the premises. So what's the business owner going to do? He's going to say, he's going to phone the security company up and say, you know which one I'm on about? Yeah? Every person walking through that door, me and Vic were on that front door, every person got a handshake. Every person, male, female, they got a handshake. You know, approachability, very, very, very powerful. I believe, personally speaking, when I communicate with people, I believe everybody you speak to is reachable. Yeah? It don't matter if you've had a conflict with them, yeah? They're reachable. And if you adopt that philosophy, if I haven't got through to someone and something's gone wrong, I always say to myself, it's my fault. Why? Because I try to instill within myself to become a better communicator. Rather than blame the other person, blame yourself. Maybe there's something there. And everybody's world is unique. We all have individual perceptions of what's going on. You have yours, I have mine. Yeah? And it's about thinking about, it's about considering, write this down, considering the other person's point of view. It's about thinking about considering the other person's point of view. Consider the other person's point of view. Put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself in their shoes. Understand their point of view. Write these phrases down. Understand their point of view. So we're referring to the quality of empathy the most powerful quality with regard to this qualification. If I say to you, what's the most powerful quality? If you said to me, Vic, well, what do you think is the greatest quality? I would say to you, this course and its content hinges on empathy. Because if you've got empathy with someone and you understand them and you can see their point of view, remember that word empathy. If empathy comes up on your assessment paper, that's your answer. Okay, have you got that? Yeah, remember the word empathy. People think empathy is sympathy. Sympathy is not there. Empathy transcends beyond. It goes beyond. There are only a few people in your life. You might have a lot of good friends, yeah? But there are only a few people that you know you will go and speak to when you've got a troubled mind. Am I right? Maybe one, maybe two. I can think of one. Yeah? I've got a lot of friends, but there's only maybe one, stroke maybe two, that I will speak to. Why? Why will I go to them? Because they have the quality of empathy. Yeah? So you've got that special person. It might be your wife, or it might be somebody else. Okay, so just think about that empathy. Have we got that? Yeah? Lock the word empathy in your mind. Yeah? Lock it right there. Okay, so we have, I'm not going to go through all of these. Have you noticed how I've put stories in with these words? Maybe 2 or 3 stories. Yeah? Approachability. Patient. Water off a duck's back. Water off a duck's back. I've had a guy say to me, I'm gonna put a screwdriver down your throat. Yeah. And he was speaking to me and I was going, all right, okay. No, I'd lost it for a second because he threatened me. And then we had a customer come over and this was there at the same time and tapped me on the shoulder. He goes, hey! He's drunk and you ain't. And he's right. So you know what he did? You know what that made me do? 7 years ago. You know what that made me do? It stopped me in my tracks. Because he was right. Even, it stopped me right in my tracks, yeah? So what we need to remember is, some people will say, I'm black, you're Paki. I've had Paki, a lot of Kosovan, Paki, go back to your own country or whatever. I've had all that. In the past, I reacted to it. You probably had it in the shop as well.
Very, very bad sometimes.
Yeah? You probably had it in the shop. Yeah, I've had all that. And sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you, when I was younger, I was more fiery. Yeah? I was very fiery when I was younger. I would react to it. But now, I've had a guy standing in the doorway and he caught me off guard because we removed him from the club some years ago, 20 years ago. We removed him and he says, he got me because he says, you Paki. He says, step outside. Step outside. And he said, you Paki. To me, he said it about 4 times. And that escalated the situation. It escalated from there. That means things happened after that. But again, you may get it when you're working. You may get it. You may take abuse. Water off a duck's back. Be patient with it. Yeah, be patient. As long as you're patient. I've also had times in the past where I've had 1 scenario, I've had 2 scenarios, I've had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in one night. And my internal conversation says to itself, no more, because I don't want any more on that night. I feel like I'm overloaded. No more. But what needs to kick in at that point in time? You've got to be like the bouncing ball. Bounce once, catch. Let it go. If it's not really a small bouncing ball, you don't have to drop them, they come straight back into your hand. You need to be able to bounce back. Quality of resilience. Resilience is the word. The quality of resilience. You need to be able to bounce back from each situation. The bouncing ball. Think about that really. I'm sure you've had one of them when you was kids. I remember I did, and I was throwing it all over the place and something broke in the house and the mum went, hey, yeah, I had it. Yeah. Okay, all right. I'm not going to go through all of these, though, but I think you're getting a general idea. Any of these positive qualities that come up, yeah, you can use them on your job interviews. Any of these positive qualities that come up on the assessment paper, they'll see they're all positive. Look for something positive. You have to be a problem solver. Problem solver. A good problem solver. You need to be able to handle aggression and be a good problem solver. And it's not easy. We will work with strategies. I always use strategies when communicating with people. I haven't got one strategy that I use that I'm going to go in and do this. A client of mine who was, I was doing some coaching with him. I do coaching, by the way, as well, life coaching and stuff. Came to me and he was doing some work for me, invigilation work for me. He come in to the invigilation 3-4 times late. Now, it looks unprofessional on my part. I'm waiting for him. He used to do the invigilation. So he turns up and he says, he comes in. I said, okay, all right. Now, after the invigilation, I said, how do you want me to communicate with you? Do you want me to be frank with you or nice with you? And he said, Vikas, just be frank with me. I'll hopefully get the message in. I had spoken to him on a couple of occasions prior to that, so that message wasn't getting in. But he said that day, I asked him for how he wanted me to communicate with him. He says, be frank. That was a strategy that I used. I said, how do you want me to communicate? He says, be frank. And I was frank with him. I wasn't nasty to him, but I was just really straightforward. You need to communicate with people. You need to communicate with people. You need to communicate with people in a way that is clearly understood. You need to communicate with people in a way that is clearly understood to them. Whether it be frank, whether it be nice. I believe in clear communication. Sometimes the client requires more assertiveness. Sometimes the client requires more nicety. They want a bit of comfort. Yeah? And sometimes you say something and it could come across arrogantly, but if so, and it has come across arrogantly, you apologise. You apologise for it. There's not a lot of people that say thank you, and there's not a lot of people in life that say sorry. Okay? Would you agree with me? Yeah? I sometimes get a lot of people on my course programs, and especially with the job centre lot. A lot of them with the job centre lot. You know they're thankful by the body language, but they would never say it to you. But they might come across and say, because, see, especially come up to you right at the end of the program, because thank you. Or they might not say thank you, I'll see you next time. Yeah? But you can read, you can be a reader of body languages. You have to become a little bit like the child. Remember when you were a child? You go back. Think about it. You think about when you wanted something and your parents said, no! But you knew